There are so many different kinds of beauty sponges. They are not all the same, okay? This one has been patented by Lime Life. It is not like the others.
Different.
I need to clean my tools, obviously. Okay. I've had people buy sponge. They're like, I'm using a sponge. It's not working. My first question is, which sponge? Okay. The second question is, how are you using it? So, you get this awesome case. It's like a screen. This is magnetic. Oh, there's the mail.
A cute basket.
So, the reason why this is cool is your sponge isn't going to sit in this enclosed case and hold everything, start growing stuff, okay? It's giving it some air. The other thing, which I'm going to talk about, is when you use it wet and you wring it out, this, you can put it right back in here and it's still going to dry. It's not going to sit in here wet, okay? So, and really cool are these little mini ones. At first I was like, okay, why do you need a mini Blenderful? Because I have my big one. Look how cute.
Mama,
this one goes in the corner of my eyes. Fine. It's like a perfect, I don't have any makeup on, so just ignore that. It's a perfect fit for my under eyes. It doesn't leave any. So the whole reason we use tools is to help our makeup have this flawless. You don't want it to look like you have streaks on your face, right? So when you're patting with your Blenderful, it's creating the illusion of skin because you're pressing it onto what your skin looks like. So when you use a brush, don't get me wrong, I use a brush. And depending on what I'm going for, how quick I need to get out the door, it just depends. Okay, when you're using a brush, you really don't want to be swiping like this because you're leaving marks, okay? So I swirl like this with my brush. When you have a Blenderful, and you're into your face, you're like stamping color on your skin. So our foundation is wax-based and it's already nicknamed the second skin. It's like a second skin when you put it on because it moves with you. Because it's wax-based, it's like, I don't know how to, it's not soft, but it like warms up with your skin. And so it moves with you and it just feels good. It doesn't feel like you have this layer of really thick, heavy stuff on, which if you've never tried a wax-based foundation, it is a learning curve from a liquid foundation or a powder because many, many times people will use way too much because until you get it warm, it's not going to spread. And so you think it's not spreading, so you get more product and spread it. And then all of a sudden it's warm and you have all of this product on your face. So I like to talk with anyone who's a first-time wax-based foundation user and kind of walk them through expectations, different ways to put it on, etc. Okay, so
teach people how to use their makeup.
I try. I do. Yep. So if you don't have one, you want one. Not just any one, okay? You know those triangle ones from like Walgreens or Walmart? They're white. I always call them ramp sponges. They look like a ramp. You know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh. Those are so... This is just like a tool. It holds your foundation. It doesn't suck it up. It doesn't waste it, so your product's going to last longer. And when you stamp it, and that's okay. So when you stamp one of those ramp sponges on your face, it's like it doesn't do anything. It's like it's moving the product underneath it. Like when you stamp with this, it's going. Do you see how nice that is? It's stamping it, pressing it on your face. So do you see what I'm doing? This is what you should do if you have a Blenderful or a beauty sponge. You're not wiping, okay? Okay, so when you're putting it on, And this is why it depends on if I use a Blenderful or a brush. Sometimes I use a brush and I just whip it on. When I use a Blenderful, if you want a really matte, full coverage look, not heavy, not cakey, but full coverage. You want everything covered. You're going to use your Blenderful dry. You're going to get a matte finish. And I'm not going to put it on today, I'm sorry, unless one of you tell me that you really want to see it on. You're just pressing it on your face. You're going to be gentle around your eye. And then, of course, it has this shape here for underneath your eye, and I almost always put my foundation on my eyelid. You don't have to. You're just pressing because you're giving the appearance of a second skin. If you're swiping, you have a swipe mark, whether you notice it or not. Makeup is an artistry, and it's all about the illusion. Like when you're contouring, you put a darker color here and it pops. It draws a shadow here, so it makes it appear. Your cheekbones aren't actually more cheekbonier. It just appears that way. So when you swipe your makeup with a sponge or a brush, it's doing something. When you press it into your face, you're just putting it on. My phone's gonna die. Do I have my charger? Okay, so that's a very, very, very important thing to note. You're pressing, you're patting, you're stippling, you are not swiping, okay? The other thing, so you can use it dry, you're gonna get a matte full coverage. My favorite thing to do is to use a Blenderful wet, and I wanna show you the difference in size here. Let's do this. These are the exact same Blenderful. This one is wet, so it's expanded because it has moisture in it. This one is smaller because it doesn't, okay? So they're the exact same tool. You see the difference in size? So what that's gonna do, two things. I soak it in really hot water so it's warm. And the reason I do that is our foundation is wax-based, and you wanna get out all the water you can. So you're gonna squeeze it, make sure you're getting everything out of there. It's still gonna be bigger than the other one. The reason why I like it warm is because our foundation is wax based, and if it's warm, it's going to move easier and faster. You can build up friction with your brush and your Blenderful the more you're working it and moving it, but if you start out with a warm, wet, I shouldn't say wet, damp, because you're squeezing all that water out, you're going to move your foundation around a lot more. So the damp, warm Blenderful is going to give you more of like a sheer coverage. Don't get me wrong, it's still going to be good coverage, but it's going to not be as matte, as flawless of a finish. It's just going to be a little bit more sheer, perhaps dewy. You could use that word. And again, you're just pressing. You're not swiping because you're going to get those marks, okay? And of course, you want to go in your ear, down your neck. Same thing, you're not swiping down your neck. Sometimes I will, and then I go back in and pat. So those are my tips for using a Blenderful. So all sponges are not created equal. I said that. You can use it two different ways. Dry is going to give you a fuller coverage, matte finish, more like a flawless finish, you know, very airbrushed look. If you get it wet and warm, it's going to give you more of a dewy look, more of a dewy glow, which I love. And then the most important thing is you're not swiping, okay? You're stippling, you're pressing, you're patting, and it takes a longer time than a brush just whipping it on. So, but, you know, when you want your makeup to look like your second skin, it's worth it to take those couple extra minutes. So if you have any questions about how to use a Blenderful or a beauty sponge in general, let me know. You can put them in the comments down here, or you can message me. And we'll troubleshoot whatever it is. If you feel like your makeup's cakey, if you feel like it's not giving you enough coverage, One of my favorite things is chatting with people and figuring out what we can do to make sure they're happy and confident in their makeup. Because the worst thing is you put on your makeup and you go out and you're like, oh my gosh, everyone's staring at my makeup. And that's not what makeup's for. Makeup's supposed to help you feel more confident and comfortable in your skin. It's not to change your appearance. It's to enhance the beautiful you that you already are. So I hope that was helpful. Hope you got some new tips that you can try. Bye.